Welcome. Welcome with peace and love. This is the first Thursday in April, April 4th. And the numbers line up, interestingly, 4424. And some say there's a special energetic portal opening today. When at the same time, Mercury's in retrograde. So we all got to be careful and committed to being vigilant of our own selves, because it's not just those two things that are happening atmospherically. There's also so much that has been going on from full moon to full moon in March to April. There's 2 times a year when we have a concentration of faith paths and spirituality practices that are converging onto the earth at the same time. And this is one of those periods of time. One, of course, is in December. And now we have Ramadan, which started in April. We had Purim, which was a Jewish festivity. In Christianity, there was Lent and Palm Sunday, and Easter. There was Holi from the Hindu tradition. And spring equinox from the earthbound religions and faith practitioners. And I was thinking about, well, what does it all mean in terms of how we interact with that energy at this time? And it's just a reminder to us that at any given day, there are people in prayer, people in devotion, people who are concentrated on their spirituality and on their spiritual practices. And so I thought about this line in A Course in Miracles, where Jesus says that he was once like us. He once had all the earthly concerns. And he said, the only difference is that at some point, those things no longer matter to me. What mattered to me was maintaining my connection to love, removing all the boundaries to love's presence, and no longer having tolerance for my own movement away from any of that. Now, of course, I'm paraphrasing Jesus. But the thing is that I went looking for that. I wanted to be able to give you the exact quotation and area in the book. So I started reading the first 2 chapters, and I got very deeply involved in those first 2 chapters. And what occurred to me was those 2 chapters are everything. The rest is commentary. By the way, that concept of that which is sacred being usually spoken in a few words and the rest is commentary comes from the 1st century mystic, sage, Jewish elder, Rabbi Hillel, who some say was the teacher of the Torah to Jesus. We don't know. However, it is said that he said the Torah, the first 5 books of the Jewish Hebrew scripture, are the most important to study and to know, to integrate, and that the rest is commentary. Well, I feel the same way about the first 2 chapters of A Course in Miracles. So why do we need commentary? Why do we need so much more than the first 2 chapters? And why is that as it pertains to just about anything in our lives when it comes to our spiritual practices? And I believe it's because what we need is the reminder of the importance of discipline so that we can then take our spiritual practice into integration. So it's not just what we know intellectually, it's not just what we can talk about, but it's what we are actually living, that we in fact do rise higher, that we in fact do love steadily and forgive readily. And that becomes a way of being. And this way of being can actually bring us peace, and we can live a very simple life of basics. Sort of like that kindergarten essay from a long time ago. This guy, Robert Fulghum, he wrote something that said, everything I've ever needed to know, I learned in kindergarten. And it was all about sharing, playing fair, enjoying the simple things. He says, clean up your mess. And I thought, as adults, it's not just our physical environment. It's whatever messes we may create by interacting in a way that is not the most loving, not the most kind, not the most compassionate, and not the most in line with our spiritual practices. Well, he also says to eat cookies, which I completely agree has to be part of everything that we do to make ourselves happy, to sing and to dance and to enjoy life, but to be able to look at how we're enjoying life, to make sure that what we're doing is with a higher consciousness so that we can sort of step outside and look in at ourselves and how we're interacting. And if it is from a true integrity, if we're not just trying to be of show, but to really be of practice, to be of integration because of the discipline that we're applying. It's no different than if we say, you know what, I'm going to lose 5 pounds, and we could just talk about diets and talk about the benefits of keto versus the benefits of being a vegan. And we can talk a lot if we learn a lot about those things, but it's not until we actually put into practice the dietary changes that we're going to see the change. It's the same thing with our spiritual practice. It's the exact same thing. I saw a funny meme the other day of these 3 guys that looked very guru-ish, you know, living up in a mountain, but they had a computer. The guy in the middle had a laptop on his lap, and you know, they have long beards, long hair, and you know, they have beads hanging, and they're now connected to social media. And the one guy leans over and he says, "Be sure to let people know how spiritual you are." And I had to laugh because it's not about who we think we are. It's about what we truly, deeply, in a rigorously honest way, know who we are. And that means the days when we're not our better self, our higher self, and we're not functioning from a higher vibration because we have sort of stepped away and have forgotten for a moment. Spiritual amnesia is real. For a moment, we forget that we woke up saying that I have these 24 hours ahead of me, and I want to know what to say, who to say. I want to know who I can be a blessing to. And sometimes that opportunity comes disguised as something unpleasant. And so if we can get back into the mindset of getting to the point where we say, you know what, I don't like that part of me that is no longer in line with my true spiritual aspirations. Not to say that we can't be gentle with ourselves when the times come when we seem to be faltering a bit. We can gently recorrect, just like we would gently recorrect a child or gently recorrect, in my life, a puppy. It's not out of harshness, it's not out of anger, but it is about recognition. It's about a place of knowing that I could have said that more kindly. I may need to think more deeply about how connected am I to this commitment that I have made to rise higher, love steadily, forgive readily. And if I can make my own correction, then I start anew. And if you can read the first 2 chapters and see how much it sets the stage for however it is you then want to work toward deconstructing all your obstacles to love's presence and all the obstacles that have been created by a subconscious memory bank that keeps telling us things that may not be so good about ourselves. And so we sometimes project that outwards. So today is the day to go back to kindergarten, to the very basic childlike wonder of life. Eat cookies, be nice, share, sing and dance, enjoy life, and more than nice, be kind. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and then maybe when you find yourself being fearful of what it might mean to truly be vulnerable on this path, that you will be able to redirect your fears to the memory of peace. I can see peace. I can live from peace. I can be peace. I can rise higher. And that, in fact, is the steps that we can take today, April 4th, 4/4/24. If there's a portal of energy opening, let's step into that and receive the blessings and the opportunity to be a blessing. So let's do that together. I'll be on the path. I'll be looking for you on the path. We've got Mystic Conversations coming up in 2 weeks with Gadi Lisa. We're going to be talking about a Hindu poet mystic by the name of Rabbi. And then we have the full moon here in Lauderdale by the Sea on Wednesday, April 24th. We are on the spiritual path together, and I am blessed by your presence. God bless you.